Am I more than you bargained for, ghoul? Been 200 years since the bombs all blew.
As if that wasn't bad enough, the aspect ratio is going to change in the next scene. I've been down this road before. I've been in this vault experiment. I put one hand on my wall and one hand on my gun, and I'm kind of backing away slowly. What's your read on this?
We're going down.
Welcome to Fallout Boys, the officially unofficial podcast for Fallout on Amazon Prime. I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron.
Or should I say I'm the ghoul, because that's how I feel, man. Obviously, I was out for a week or so. It's been about a week and a half, and I've just been completely sidelined with sickness. I could use a few vials. Honestly, I could use a heal-all kind of thing. That would work.
I think you need to find a big glowing block of Cobalt 60 and just shove it right in your guts.
Yeah, uranium's good for me.
It seems like Dr. Ron Perlin is suggesting that in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for some, bad for others. I don't know which I am. I could test it at least. Anyway, we're back to talk Season 2, Episode 6, The Other Player. I legit don't know how long my voice is going to hold out. Aaron, what'd you think about this episode?
It'd be funny if, like, every 15 minutes you go, I'm Jim, and like try to contain
I forget to mute the mic. Yeah, that's what I sound like.
It's another episode. It's a great episode. But it's like, I don't know. I get self-conscious trying to, because it seems like the internet now, it's like, unless there's some big action scene that's like, oh, what happened? But it's like, this is an episode that's getting to show where it needs to be in the final shape of things. It seems like this show has decided that you cannot have. It's like that logic puzzle about the old man with the boat, and he's trying to get a chicken, a fox, and a bag of grain across the river. This show can only have Lucy, Max, or the ghoul together, not all three at once. So because Maximus was coming back into the plot with the ghoul, he had to piss off Lucy, so now Lucy's off with Hank. But this is how they're all going to get back into Vegas where they need to be. And it took is the powerful form of a mutant Ron Perlman to set these things in motion.
Is that what you were thinking too? Because that's exactly what it is in my notes.
What?
Is that actually Ron Perlman? If it's really Ron Perlman. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Like, as soon as I thought there's like, okay, maybe it's Clancy Brown, because Clancy Brown does a lot of this kind of genre work, and he's got that distinctive voice, and there's like a vocoder. But then I'm like, no, as he turned around, I'm like, by God, that's Ron Perlman, and he is credited in the credits. So I was really tickled pink to see. I don't know what the fuck a mutant is. This guy is a lot more monstrous than I was expecting. He's not very Charles Xavier gifted youngster. He's more like dripping sack of tar, tumor man. But yeah, Ron Perlman, that's exciting. And I think I don't know. The other thing that I came away is this. I wonder how pissed Joy and Nolan were when they saw this season of Pluribus, because I couldn't help but see the connections between what Hank is doing with his super happy, motivated people and the Pluribus virus, I guess. It's like, I feel like they stole it. That felt derivative for no reason, for no good reason. But I think it's enough of itself, and it's giving Lucy a little bit of a moral quandary. I don't know how this chip is working. Because it seems like the people have more, I guess, free will, or did they have preferences? Like, we like staying here. This is better than the overland. And it seems like it would be. I mean, if nothing else, maybe that's the breakthrough, is that Hank realized that he couldn't force the mind control on somebody, that they have to willingly accept it. And the only way they can do that is to find someone whose life is so terrible that any alternative is better.
Yeah. Like the chicken fucker.
The chicken fucker. I don't know if you heard the podcast, but I represented your love of the chicken fucker as well as I could.
Thank you.
Tal has got my back on this one. So like but that's a weird moral quandary because like materially their life in this office seems way better. You know, it's like if this wasn't a mind control device and this was like Prozac or Wellbutrin and these people were having these like profound personality changes for the better, we'd be like, wow, what a miracle therapy. This is Fallout Universe. I'm not trying to say that Hank is practicing psychotherapy down there. I'm just saying that like, that's what Lucy is grappling with. My God, what if my dad's hypothesis is right? What if I haven't given him a fair shake? Because what the hell does she know? So that's what I thought. What'd you think? As you're delirious from sweat and fever.
There are two aspects of this that I'm really interested in. Some more so, some less so. The number one thing probably is this coming to a head of Cooper and Barb's relationship. They are like probably the most interesting dynamic going on right now, especially with the developments of this episode. And the other one is what you were talking about, you know, with this mind control stuff. Is it just the questions that surround it, that it introduces about societies and the way they're set up and individuality versus collectivism, things like that. Those are all deep and interesting topics to explore for me, and that's where most of my head is at this episode.
Yeah, and that's I didn't even mention the whole Barb, like, you know, trying to rehabilitate her character or give her a little bit more sympathetic qualities, and bring the Enclave comes off the top rope with the people's elbow back into the plot. I'd almost, I hadn't forgotten about Wilson because we just, you know, did the season 1 retro before Christmas. But like when he popped up, I'm like, what? Whoa. Yeah. The Enclave, that is the other player.
Seems like it. There's House and Vault-Tec and the Enclave.
Yeah, I took the Enclave as like just another Caesar's Legion, NCR, the Kings, the Khans, like they're just another faction doing things out there. But it seems like they were a player before the war. Maybe is this like going to be a nod to like some kind of Illuminati conspiracy? You know, like the man behind the man behind the man behind the throne.
I assume so, and I assume it's going to be somehow mutant based. Like we've got, you know, the factions sort of have their own things going on, right?
Yeah.
One's got vaults, one's got whatever Robert House is up to exactly. And then you got the Enclave, which the context in which we hear them about them in seems like it could be related more to mutant stuff. Especially with the introduction of the super mutant in this episode and the reintroduction of the Enclave.
Is the Death Claws like the Enclave? Is this maybe they're responsible for developing them?
That's what I'm thinking.
It's interesting. I will say that there's a danger of me caring less about this because like I think it's interesting when it's just raw human nature run amok that's causing problems. I kind of you know, it's like, oh, the citizens are being puppeted by the government, but the government's being puppeted by the corporations. But actually, the corporations are being puppeted by the Queen of England and Colonel Sanders and the Rockefellers and whatever crazy shit. I'm like, do we need any more explanations than just greed and money and...
No. The truth of it is it's all about incentives and personality quirks of the people who are pulling the levers of power. Yeah. That's really all it comes down to.
So I hope the Enclave isn't super, like too super, you know, like I said, Illuminati,
the puppet masters, the behind the scene puppet. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's like the corporation governments wouldn't be evil if it wasn't for these people pulling. It's like, nah, they can be evil on their own.
Sure.
But I don't even know if that's where it's going. I'm just saying that's something that like, and you can, you know, I've said this many times on many different shows or many different podcasts. There is not bad ideas. There's ideas that are hard to pull off under certain circumstances, but you can always execute it at such a level with at such a unique angle and with such intensity that you can overcome that. But the degree of difficulty is different. But I don't know what the fuck the Enclave is. Sure. I'm just saying that's my fear for it.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of dog murdering, cold fusion injecting psychopaths is all I know.
Yeah, we do know that one of their guys. I was gonna say is gonna have a change of heart, but I don't know that that's true. One of their guys is going to find a way to get free of the shackles that constrain his humanity. Michael Emerson, Wilsey Sizzlewig. I have no idea what this guy's name is.
Wilsey Swizzlestick, yeah.
He's gonna be able to at least find a way to wriggle free of the hold that they have on him.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's a self-defeating argument he makes to Barb that like no one can stop this, no one can rebel against, but he successfully did. But on the other hand, did he?
Well, it's no one. That's the thing. No one can, but a group, a large enough group, absolutely can.
Or
it takes
like Andor many people pointed out. If you have a whole bunch of people not connected, but they're all fighting the one thing, then that's hard to deal with too. Yeah, it's not any one person. It's everybody at once doing all these. You've either seen Andor or you should stop what you're doing and watch it.
Yeah, it's easy to hammer down one nail that's sticking out. If all of the nails pop out of your house is gone. Like at
different lengths and different, maybe sometimes it's bolts and not nails, and there's a wire cut. That's a lot harder.
Yeah.
All right, man. Should we get into the actual recap of what's going on?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. In a 5-minute cold open, it seems we might have misjudged Barb a bit. She seems to be just as horrified as we would all be about what Vault Tech and the other companies are planning. But why can't she do something, we might ask ourselves. Hank sits in on a meeting between Barb and the fake Mr. House as he explains he's about to acquire their cold fusion tech for his mystery project in Vegas in exchange for his mind control technology, which he is marketing as the Automated Man.
Yeah, and all this is carrying over the idea that, Barb has been insisting she's acting on, which is I'm doing this for Janie, for the family, which is true. I take that at face value. Yeah. It's just how far are you willing to go? And all the points that Cooper's going to raise later, I think are valid. But this is the scene setting up the big turn for her, right? The big question, where is her line? And we'll find it in this episode.
And that's like, we've talked about this like in many different podcasts and many different shows, but the idea that like it's hard to set a moral principle around what you wouldn't do for your own child. Mm-hmm. Because like if a bad guy's got like my son and some random person and they're threatening them both, I got to choose one. Well, sorry, random person I don't know, but I'm going to save my son. But like when you're talking about the whole human race, I at some point, you gotta think about like, what is a life worth living, and would you rather be alive in this terrible thing that you've created with your child eventually going to find out about it, and God, if you've raised them to be a good person, they're going to condemn you. Mm-hmm. Why not just try to be the guy that's pulling up nails and unscrewing screws and cutting wires, and if you die, you die, because who the fuck wants to live in this broke system that they've designed? What do you think about that? I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's just how I feel. I don't know if that's like 90% of the human race or 1% of the human race, but like there's
some people
limits.
Who just don't give a shit, right? Like they would literally destroy the entire world to add another for things far more petty. Yes. Yeah. Than their child dying. Like, and I do wish Cooper would bring up a point, which is like the survivor's guilt that Janie is going to feel. Yeah. Having been the reason why you caused all of this. Yeah. Do you think she's going to have a good life after that? Yeah. Like, how could she possibly live with that?
Right. And he kind of does with the like, what about the thousands, millions, billions of other mothers just like you that have daughters just like Janie? Like, how can you do such a crime? Because Yeah.
Yeah, he's pointing that at Barb, but he needs to also say that Janie is going to get some of that heat too. Like, you're not insulating her from that. You can't.
Yeah, how could you ever live up to that? Well, we sacrificed about 7 billion people so that you had a chance to live in this underground vault bullshit. You know,
now you'd have to strap a mind control device to her to make her believe that that's worth it.
Maybe those threads are a little connected, actually.
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah, I also like it's ironic that this company that makes robots are like, you know, we've been trying to make them more and more human, right? That's what we're all trying to do. We all just want to get the fuckable robots, right? Well, humans are almost all the way there. He's got the brains, so just twiddle that, and now you got the perfect robot.
Sure.
The automated man.
Approach the problem from the other end. I like it.
And I said it's a mystery project, except for we kind of know from all the different things, you know, from our omniscient watching this plot, that his plan seems to be to your standard supervillain download consciousness into a cyborg perpetually running body with cold fusion so that you can rule over the biologicals immortal, you know, like as some kind of immortal techno lich.
Oh my God, that scene last episode where he straps the helmet on, just perfect in every way.
I was with Pete last week, and I'm like, what? And then the thing about Pete is he's mildly interesting because he's like steeped in the lore, and I'm like, it's like, was I having a stroke, or did Justin Theroux, in the middle of this like interrogation speech exhibition for Cooper, strap a Doc Brown fall off your toilet helmet and made no mention of it? He just straps this thing on as and it's like it never goes anywhere. It never does. Like, what was he about to like jack Cooper's body, or is he about to actually have his apotheosis? What the hell?
I think he's just reinforcing his point that this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to live forever, man. And this is the device that's going to let me do it.
But why would you do that? Like, I don't know. It's like,
right.
Like if I'm telling you about this new hard drive technology I'm going to bring into the world, and as I'm talking, I just bring out fucking, I don't know, SATA cable, and I drape it around my neck. What? I don't have the hard drive. I can't plug it in. Like, it's just a weird thing to do. And it's funny. It's really funny, too.
Hilarious.
To see Justin Theroux in like this, you know, impeccable rich guy, suave kind of Howard Hughes before he started collecting urine in jars phase. And he just has this, like, again, crazy Doc Brown contraption strapped to his head. It's funny.
Yeah. No, I think it's the show making a statement about, you know, the sanity of this guy.
Because that's the other thing, is him. He started seeming kind of crazy, but everyone on this show, like, what, the CEOs of Vault-Tec are sane? I mean, right. Some of them are, I guess,
the other
more
thing about this scene. It just feels so surreal. Like, if I'm Barb and I'm sitting here, let's pretend that for a second I would ever consider doing anything like what she's doing. Just seeing this cavalcade of people coming through and saying, we have these plans, and each one more despicable and insane than the last.
Right.
And she just she's going along with this. Like, I feel like she's just dissociated here. Like, she has set herself down a path that she knows is wrong, but has her justifications, and as she sees it all play out in front of her, it just becomes more and more insane and ludicrous. But she can't turn back. She's got this sunk cost fallacy.
And she kind of tried. And like, I guess that's that when we get to the scene with the Enclave with the swizzle stick guy in the elevator. I mean, I guess that would take the wind out of my sails if I'm like, I'm going to start a one woman. I can't trust anyone. And then like the day I just make the first step, some dude meets me in the elevator and be like, hey, if I don't tell you this, I'm going to be dead. And if you don't do this thing, your family will be dead. Whoa, that's some crazy shit. Although I gotta say, Maybe that's the Enclave. I mean, they're telling me it's the Enclave. But, like, also, the last episode, they revealed that Robert House has had his digital eyes everywhere and his ears everywhere in the T-45 combat suits, in the boardrooms of corporate executives, in the White House, Congress, everywhere. He knows everything that's going on. He's got all this data. That feels like a lot more of a Robert House thing. Do you think the Enclave, like, that he's bullshitting us, and that, like, the Enclave is just his left hand?
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
We just have so little information about the Enclave.
Yeah. So me and Pete were talking about last week. It's like, we didn't see any way that the Ghoul could save himself from this situation. So he's going to have to be saved. Who is going to save him? We speculated. We rejoined the Ghoul this episode as he is pinned helpless to the sidewalk pole. No passerby gives a shit about him and his condition. Dogmeat finally shows up. He's sympathetic, of course, but ultimately he's an idiot. He's pretty useless. Cooper shows signs of going feral as he remembers asking Barb on their Vegas jaunt if she was always a monster or just turned into one.
Yeah. I was trying to connect these two scenes because, like, they do this shot where they sort of connect them visually. That could just be for fun, but
also Cooper has literally become a monster. He wasn't a monster in the beginning. He is a monster now. I guess that's the thematic connection.
Well, I was trying to see if they were going for something like, oh, I could have done something about it, and I just didn't, right? And this is what it got me. 200 years of being a monster and then dying on this stupid pole.
Yeah.
And watching the world end and never finding my family and losing it all.
Yeah.
But it seems like he does try and do something by the end of this episode. So I don't actually know what that connection is supposed to be.
I couldn't help but notice that, like, with him pinned on that sidewalk, he looks like a butterfly or a bug that's been pinned in some entomologist collection. He's completely helpless. He's this specimen.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting, but yeah, he's stuck there. He can't do anything without help, and I think that is what the monster is going to kind of work on. That, like, no man is an island, even you, who've been a wasteland warrior for 200 years. Look at you, got in a situation where you were fucked, dude. So maybe it's humbling him a little bit. Maybe it's because, like, it seems like they're trying to rehabilitate Barb, and the only reason they would do that in my mind is if she's going to be a character going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that she's a lot like, well, we don't know. We know that Hank has 2 cryotubes labeled Janie and Barb in his hideout. But it seems likely that she'll be, once they rehabilitate her and we get a full 360-degree understanding of what's going on here, that she'll be a character again.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just a brief scene. Lucy next awakens in her dad's corporate office vault and finds that he has mind controlled a squad of wastelanders who are now ludicrously polite and industrious. Exploring further, she finds her father preparing dinner for them. He tries to resume their relationship as father and daughter where they left off just before her disastrous wedding. But Lucy's having none of it. In fact, she takes him into custody to bring him to justice at knife point. Hank, surprised to me, surrenders himself, saying he's ready to take responsibility and wants to explain his actions to her as he does so. Potentially important note, Jim, since this is a Nolan and Joy property. All of this action takes place in a room that she walks into that's labeled in giant 16-inch letters, simulation.
Mm-hmm.
And
did the aspect
as if
ratio
that wasn't
change?
bad enough, the aspect ratio is going to change in the next scene. I've been down this road before. I've been in this vault experiment. I'm putting one hand on my wall and one hand on my gun, and I'm kind of backing away slowly. What's your read on this?
I hope not. I hope you're wrong. I hope you're as wrong as you possibly can be, because none of that stuff was compelling enough to make it worth it in Westworld, with the exception of season 1. I really don't want this to be any kind of trickery. I could see this easily just being the room where we are testing, our mind control stuff.
Yeah, you gotta have a sample office where people's heads can explode and it's not going to disrupt, just like the mice. Like,
for sure.
I think that's what it is too. But also, I wouldn't be bothered if this was a simulation and Hank wanted to see. He's a careful man. He's not going to do a one-of-one experiment with these kind of stakes on the line with his daughter. He just wants to see if his daughter is even going to hear him out. So like, but that's it. It's literally got to be like a Star Trek holodeck test of loyalty thing. It cannot be like a whole seasons of critical plot happening in a simulated room. Agreed?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, obviously Hank is up to something, right?
Yeah.
He's
just way too blasé about being taken hostage. Now, maybe it's because he can just at any word turn these people into, like, hey, take my daughter into custody, and like, what's she going to do against 100 people, right? But
sure.
Also, if he's just simulating all this, and that's kind of interesting too. But to a point.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. To a point. That's the whole scene, right? Like, he is trying to make a point to her. This is an educational experience, an educational opportunity for Hank and his daughter. He starts with this book, Quiet on the Western Front, which she didn't finish reading, but he's trying to teach her how horrible, I assume, war is. That book
war never changes.
Has a reputation.
Yeah, not read the book, but I saw the Netflix adaptation about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was a hell of a thing, I will say. It was a hell of a thing. One of the most bleak experiences I've ever had watching a movie.
Yeah, so he's trying to impress upon her the need for what he's doing here without
what's the alternative?
Showing her the horrors. And in that, it's fairly effective. I mean, he obviously is taking her through the building set piece by set piece. He's been expecting her, essentially.
For sure. Yeah. I also like the way he's framed it. He didn't try to like deny doing bad things he said, I did it all to protect you. Maybe I went too far. Maybe I do need to stand trial. And praising her, like, I was worried when she goes and takes him at knife point. I was worried that the wasteland changed you. I'm so happy to see that your sense of justice is intact. And then there's there's so many layers to this that I kept on picking up on, like that story he's telling about. Remember that time when you had the potato batteries and you kept on recharging your, flashlight with all these potatoes? I'm wondering if he's like making like when you were a child, you used a living thing to derive energy, and like maybe that was also a cause, like maybe her sucking all the, I don't know how a potato battery works. Like I know it was a science experiment. Yeah. And I don't know if it's like, is the potato actually have electric potential energy, or is it just you stick two copper wires and there's a galvanic reaction from
I think it's chemical reaction.
Yeah, but like maybe like if it turns out that Lucy led to one of those Weevil famines because she was fucking with the potatoes, like he can like, hey, you're in a sense of science. We're trying to do this, but like, I don't know. That's something she did out of ignorance. And presumably it's the kind of stuff that like that happens all the time in science. Like Mary Curie died fucking with radiation because she's like, well, look at those cool things I can do. Right. But like, it's not every scientist like saw her and be like, you know what? We need to handle raw radioactive. That's the future. It's like, oh, we learned from that. Right. I don't know. That's the only. What do you think that? Or am I taking this way too far and he's just trying to tell a pleasant story from the child to build that connection of we're father-daughter, I love you. You love me.
I could see him having multiple purposes for everything. Like, it does serve that purpose, certainly.
And they keep on mentioning
them as father-daughter.
Like, that also connects that, like, with Reg's plot of, I'm tired of hearing about the goddamn Weevil famine, and I can't be the only one. Like,
all of this connects in a way, right? Like the stuff we're going to see from Max and Thaddeus here in the next scene, the stuff that they're doing with Reg and his populist incest movement. All of this stuff is connecting to say, how should people be governed and who should have a say in that? That's it. That's what they're doing here. Like,
yeah,
we'll talk about it more as we get to those scenes, but yeah, absolutely.
So Maximus and Thaddeus have escaped from the Brotherhood for now. They've made it far enough that they think they've gotten away. Maximus decides to abandon their mech suits to evade the various trackers that the Brotherhood has in it, and announces his plan to find some quote-unquote good people to give the cold fusion tech to.
Yeah. And it's Thaddeus's sort of estimation of who is a good person, what kind of person can become good. It's someone who has privileges. It's someone who is not tortured and forced by the wasteland to become what they've become. Yeah. And I would say you're just plain wrong, Thaddeus. We have enough examples of people who were given all the privileges and somehow still turned out to be monsters. Wealth does not make you into a good person. Period. Not full stop.
No, I think having your base needs met and being supported by a community that you feel connected to is what makes a healthy individual. And
it can, but it also doesn't have to. I don't know.
Well, but I think I don't know. This is actually
some people are just psychopaths, like born.
You think so?
Psychopaths, yes. Chemical imbalances. Because
I would say that
should be taken as far away from any decision making and power as possible.
Because I think super wealth makes you weird. Like there's lots of examples of that. You know, we talked about who's the aviator. I just name checked him. Thank you, Howard Hughes. We got some weirdos nowadays with lots of money and doing weird shit with their bodies and their faces and the blood of their teenage sons, and it's all crazy. But like that, I don't know. Like would they have ended up that way if they just didn't have to worry about the material things, but it wasn't like they didn't have the wealth of an Egyptian pharaoh, right? Like they didn't have to worry about being sick and hungry and exposed to the elements, and they had a community of people that loved and supported them and they felt loyal to. That's not your average super ultra, I got a yacht that has a detachable yacht kind of people, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are exceptions to any of these blanket statements, like wealth makes you a good person or community and connection to people makes you a good person. There's always going to be exceptions. The thing that Thaddeus is doing here is that he's assuming that being born with these types of privileges, like not having to scrounge for food, not having to potentially murder people every day just to get by, will naturally turn you into a good person. And I think he's wrong about that. I mean, I don't know Robert House's background.
Do you think Maximus is wrong here? Because he's like, I was lucky. I lived in Shady Sands before it got blown to hell. I know there are good people. And we saw his parents, everyone in Shady Sands seemed like what I would call good. It's what they had enough. They had to work for it. They had community that was all pulling in the same direction, that loved and supported each other and believed in their mission.
Yeah, purpose and connection. I mean, that's
true. You can have
essentially. Yeah, as essential as food and water.
People born with various psychosis and stuff, even in I don't know what you do when your village idiot is actually like a Joffrey Baratheon type, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Right, because that can happen, but
yeah, but the opposite is also not true, where you just by default become a good person because of circumstance. I don't think that's true.
I thought that the other thing, Thaddeus is just funny. I just like how he reminds me of like Deep Space Nine Ferengi.
Okay,
right? Like he's not evil, but he's like, we're gonna give this to a good person. You mean trade it, right? You mean like sell it? Like, well, what if we sell it and get so much money we can be those good people that we want to be? Like it's so Quark. This is like Quark arguing with Cisco. I felt like. Oh yeah, no, I like that. You glue. Also, there's a non-zero chance of him growing a giant butt head on his forehead. And Maximus is already like he's a shaved head and goatee away from being a fairly convincing Cisco. This is a direction the show could go down, Jim. If
they really want to, yeah.
I also love his, like, Thaddeus is like, well, if you're the lucky one, then we're both screwed. And also the cinematography of them walking this dune ridge. I don't know if that's literally in the Mojave. Is the Mojave really that fucking Sahara looking? It has like those huge dune ridges.
I have no idea.
God, it was beautiful though. I love seeing some good scenery at sunset. Anyway, Cooper, he's still stuck in that pole. He's still fighting his ghoulification, and he works himself up, remembering, I am Cooper. I have a family. I have a daughter and a wife. He gets a superhuman effort and works himself off of that pole, but he can't quite make it to the top. He has a ghoul attack, which causes him to slide painfully back down painfully. Things look pretty bad for our cowboy until what I can only describe as a monster comes and rescues him and drags him off into his disgusting lair filled with hanging sacks of wet tumor meat and torches and Spanish missions.
Oh, yeah.
It's an odd aesthetic.
Oh, yeah. It feels like there's a little bit of man and machine combo here, too. There's a lot of clanging metal that I don't know is coming from the scenery.
Bioorganic kind of thing you're hinting at?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Mutant implies bio more than mechanical, but
yeah. I also think it's fun.
Mechanical mixed in with your mutants.
I'm not fully. This is me kind of joking, but I do think it's funny that this mutant is like, everyone just trust us. It's like, well, have you tried putting out some flowers? Have you tried, painting some bright colors? Yeah. Maybe these wet sacks of tumor meat that are dripping on everybody, maybe take those down. I get it. You're a mutant, but
just need a rebrand. You know?
Mutants need to try respectability politics. Is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
But it is like, why does being a mutant make you like this aesthetic now? Like, you're still a human at some level, right? Don't you like fluffy, soft, bright, warm things?
I guess not.
But maybe not, because I wouldn't like a hunk of radioactive metal shoved into me. It would kill me, and it makes the ghoul. So maybe it is. It's opposite day down. It's bizarro world for mutants.
Sure. What do you think this is trying to say about his love for his daughter? Because, like, as he's pulling himself off of this pole, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. It's just not quite enough.
No man is an island. There's going to be some challenge that you're going to face that you'll need other people. And that's where people who can't do that fail. Like, if you can't make that bridge to work with other people, then you're throwing away our second most useful evolutionary advantage. First, giant brains. You could argue thumb is second, but our ability to communicate, cooperate, and empathize with each other by sharing information and stuff like that. That has got to be up in our top 3 superpowers. And just like to voluntarily not, just like Superman not using his heat vision, man. That comes in handy sometimes. What else? Yeah, we'll get more into this mutant here in a bit. A civil war might be brewing in Vault 33, Jim. Betty has her goons crack down on Reg's inbreeding group, but he's not backing down. No. He's standing up for his long, rich heritage of inbred, goddamn selfish assholes who put themselves first, like Americans were intended to.
Yeah, I mean, this is just so over the top. I love it. It's a fun scene where it turns into a music video of sorts.
Which is just a Reg fantasy.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the funny thing is I was like, oh, wow, Reg has got some talent. But no, this was all in his mind, how this is making him popular. But
for sure. It really tells you that everybody's just here for the snacks and the rations, the water rations.
Yeah. And I don't know, because, like, this is some broad parody, but, like, it's not for nothing. I've heard versions of this speech, like, straight up unironically from people.
Wow.
Like, I think everybody has heard to, like, because it's just like, I don't know, like, you see people rolling coal.
Good speech.
You see people rolling coal, or you see people, like, dumping shit in waterways because they can get away from it. And it's like the justification is always like, fuck you. It's this is me. And, I think it's disgusting behavior. I think it's disgusting, un-American, inhuman behavior. But Reg showing that I guess that's your point. Reg is a person who's grown in his bubble where everything's been provided. He's gotten his liberal education where justice and equality and all those things and democracy are valued, and he's still turned into this giant selfish asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much this is commentary on the elites, right, in our society. I don't know if they're going there, but yeah, definitely. Like Reg, just because he was given all the privilege in the world, didn't turn out to be a good guy. He's still a piece of shit, and it's just pure greed. It's just like, and the speech, I mean, just hilariously points that out. Like it's not even subtle. It's just like on the face of it, right? Our ancestors put themselves first, and that worked out for them, and it's working out for us. And damn it, we're tired of hiding our greed. Yeah. Now it's going to be in your face. Now we're taking what we want and deserve. And
I remember, so I'll use something that maybe is a little less touchy. It's in the past. It's something I think we all kind of agree on. The American misadventures in the Middle East, the global war on terror. I remember the lead up to that because like Vietnam was a cautionary tale for a certain generation of it. It was like, you know, what are we going over there with a mission? Can we win this mission? What are the people on our side? What are the restrictions? And that was always like, we don't want another Vietnam. We don't want another Vietnam. And like, there was actually people literally word for word saying, I am tired of people using Vietnam as a cudgel to say our capabilities are different. And that was 30 years ago and things are, and it's like, this is Betty saying like, look, when we had the Weevil famine, I'm tired of all you old timers talking about the Weevil famine. It is literally
tired of remembering the lessons we've learned.
Yes. And there's some of that going on today about other world histories, and I'll let you draw your own conclusions because I'm not here to tell you what to think and what to do. I'm just saying 2001 to 2003 Aaron was like sympathetic to those ideas. It turns out I was a goddamn idiot because I was like in my 20s and I'm like, yeah, it's not all Rambo and fucking Platoon. Come on, you pussies. Ugh.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, he's got himself a populist movement here, which is interesting because it seems like it's being put down by a fascist movement. So like, I don't know what the stew they're brewing here is, but it's pretty delicious thematically.
Yeah, I mean, I said these are Betty's goons, and it is the goon squad. They're coming in there to womp ass and shut it down. But like,
can you do that when everyone enjoys their snacks so much that they don't care that they're sealing their own demise?
I mean, that's the thing, man. Like you get, I don't know what happens when society gets to a part where everything's so dysfunctional. People are like, fuck it, I don't even care. Nothing's real. Facts are just what the
I feel like we're in there to keep day,
us. Man. We've been, I don't know. But on the other hand, like I look at Carl Sagan and like some of the stuff he said about stuff in the 70s and 80s. Which seems like the noble before times, and he was just as concerned. So it's just maybe this is a cycle. There's just going on.
Yeah. I mean, you got to fail at a few things to learn those lessons.
We're talking about Fallout here, Jim. I don't know what the fuck we're doing, trying to make real world illusions here. Dangerous territory.
What you were doing? I wasn't picking up on it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Reg, I'm not sure if he should eat that big thing of Jell-O. You know, Jell-O's like 99% water. That's just a smack in Betty's face.
Yeah. Oh, but so salty.
That's also something me and Pete talked about, like the idea that Betty, by virtue of getting out and living in this fucked up world that she helped design, has like come away with different lessons about like really she's learning. It's like at the end of the day, it's all about working together and making life as good as you can for everyone. But that is not a buds philosophy. That's something that she's learned for herself. And
sure, the hard way.
Yeah. Anyway, some not good doings happening in Vault 32. Chet finds out that Woody has gone mysteriously missing, and maybe worse, Stephanie is trying to force a shotgun marriage on him. Tomorrow.
Yup. Okay. Presumably this will be the bridge too far for him, right? Right?
You can disappear my friends and declare martial law, But forcing me to marry your hot ass one-eyed self and take care of your child, bridge too far.
It's gotta be.
Very Chet. Very Chet.
How many personal insults can one man sustain without cracking? Because, man, he's seen a lot of them.
I'm just saying, if they legalize cousin stuff, if they could get, if Chet and Lucy got married, none of this would have ever happened.
Yeah, you might be right.
And Reg's inbreeding support group would be that much stronger.
Do you think it's nefarious that Reg is not here? I mean, I know how, the previous encounter with Stephanie went.
You mean Woody?
Yeah, sorry, not Reg.
Okay.
I conflate the two in my head. Woody.
Oh, yeah. He's
okay.
Minimum in some kind of re-education tube. He might be dead. He might be planted in the potato field as fertilizer. Damn. If we see him, he's not gonna be having fun. I don't think.
All right.
I don't think they're going to get rid of Zach Cherry though. So I feel like maybe he'll have a box attached to his head. That'll be the beginning of the arc of how to undo this stuff.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on. The monster takes the ghoul back to his, monster hole. And he roughly attempts to heal the ghoul's body by stuffing a glowing hunk of iridium up in his guts. The monster says that mutants and ghouls need to band together against the people who set this in motion, the Enclave. And holy shit, the monster is Ron Perlman. Kind of spoiled that reveal in our general show coverage, but that's the way it goes.
The man who's hired to play monsters his entire career, presumably just because of the way he looks. But I mean,
he's got that square monster jaw and that overhanging brow and it's general brutish features
for sure.
It's another duality here, you wouldn't think that shoving a hunk of radiation into somebody would heal them, but it just goes to show common sense only takes you so far. There's people that are so different. They have different needs and requirements. I don't know exactly where they're going with this, except for it would be pretty righteous if all the misfits in the society they're getting, hosed over and prejudiced against would band together and try to stop the real threat, which is, again, the Enclave. The Enclave are the baddies?
Possibly.
That doesn't make Voltec not a baddie. It just makes them a diluted baddie or controlled opposition baddie.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to learn more about the Enclave.
Yeah. And it's like also this is the, Cooper being taught this entire episode. You can't do everything alone. He's like, I've been walking Wasteland 200 years and I do it alone. And he's like, yeah. And how's that working out for you? You would be a feral ghoul thrashing on a spike if I, your fellow mutated brother, didn't come and save you.
I will also say, I mentioned how some of the sound effects in this were like clanging metal as the super mutant is kind of moving around. And there was the stuff last episode with Robert House wanting to upload himself into a robot. I was wondering if this wasn't Robert House. And I'm still actually wondering that. If this is not potentially Robert House. Because he does have a very, highbrow way of speaking as well. The language he's using here is Robert House-esque in its form.
So you think that... I don't know. So that would require Robert House lying about not knowing who the other player is. But I don't have any problem thinking that House would lie, so I guess
yeah,
but he would he'd lie to Cooper.
Oh yeah,
he'd lie to
for sure.
Barb. He'd lie to anyone. I mean, his whole life is a lie. The person that's him in public isn't even him.
Fair.
I also like that the Ron Perlman monster it's like well, if you're going to join us, you can't know where we live, so he knocks him out. And it's like, did he want to join you? I don't think he wanted to join, but
he said if you're not going to join us, right, you can't know where we are.
Oh, is that what he said? I
think so.
I thought he said, he said if you're going to join, but that makes a lot more sense because the ghoul didn't seem to be in like some kind of monster town at the end of this episode. Okay. In the past, in Vegas, Barb tries to defend herself to her husband Cooper, saying that she knows what the companies are planning. She knows it's terrible, but there's no stopping it, and she would do anything to save Janie, wouldn't he? In a flashback, we find her telling Cooper about how she ordered Betty to round up all the info about the cold fusion technology, where it's stored, how secure it is, etc. But just as she's feeling a bit determined to save the world, she's met by Wiltzig, the Enclave scientist who ran off with dog meat and the cold fusion technology that set this whole thing in motion last season. He warns her that, in fact, no one can stop this, tells her to recommend to the CEO she's about to meet, which we saw in the end of last season, that they drop the bombs themselves to guarantee results. Out of that flashback, Cooper cannot accept that nothing can be done and vows to do something, heads out, and guess what? Spies a drunken Hank at the casino bar.
Mm-hmm. Barb, not very sympathetic in this scene. Cooper's got all the cards and he's playing them fast and furious. She starts off with a little bit of moral equivocation by way of emotional appeal with their daughter. Like, what wouldn't you do to save our daughter? Wouldn't you kill everyone? No, maybe not. And then a whole hell of a lot of whataboutism. Like, oh, there are worse people out there than me. What about kids starving in Africa? What about, I don't know, AIDS happening in Uganda? Those are both in Africa.
She was a little bit sympathetic because, like, I guess, what do you do if, again, like you are like you're highly placed in this company? Maybe you could blow the whistle. Maybe you could find out. Maybe you could stop this from happening. And the second you start planning it, like literally the second that you go off script.
But this is before that.
In the what?
Right? Is this? I can't tell when this is happening in the stream of time. So is this before she's met Michael Emerson in the elevator?
What is
the conversation she's having with Cooper here? Or is it after that? Because if it's after that, yeah, I see your point.
So I think the elevator incident happens just before the episode where Cooper spies on her in a meeting and she says that the only way to guarantee results.
Okay. So, you're right.
Yeah. So like she tried, and like that would be very scary. And it's
there are worse people out there than me is not whataboutism. It's more like I don't have a choice.
Yeah, and there's literally other people who have godlike powers, and they're going to end the world. And my only choice is: do I throw my life away, or do I try to save my family? Gotcha. It's still like I go back to like when is life worth living? You know, like who wants to live in that shithole world? And maybe you refusing to go along with it is you're a replaceable cog in a machine, but are you? You know, there's a timetable. Right. She's pretty highly placed. It's just, and that's the thing. It's like, I always think it's funny because there's, her asking Cooper, wouldn't you do it for Janie too? It's rhetorical, but it's kind of like if I'm like, Jim, wouldn't you storm the beach at Normandy? Wouldn't you be the first guy through the door once the machine guns are firing and you're storming? Like there's the thing you say in your comfortable chair now when you're not in a cold, frigid water getting 50 caliber machine gun shells slamming against your boat. And then there's a thing that actually would happen in that situation.
Yeah.
So like it's easy for Cooper to say, I wouldn't do that. And it's easy for me to say I wouldn't do that. But then there's also like being in that situation where you're a person against a global omniscient force, and all you can do is either die or save your family. So I don't know. She came like, again, I think this is all terrible, but I can't not sympathize with her a little bit.
I do think there's a bit of a false dichotomy here of like, I either help them accomplish this or our family dies. I think there's a third path, which is I simply refuse to cooperate. Like I don't blow up their spot, like, but I don't make myself a part of this. I just leave. I quit. Sorry.
I wonder what would happen if she'd go public right now. Like I feel like they'd. I don't know. They'd have a mountain of evidence to discredit her. It turns out Cooper is a communist sympathizer, and they've been trying to take down capitalism from the inside, and all Hollywood's turned to get like there's like all these narratives that they like. Even a person telling the truth that they're trying to destroy the world would be discredited, and their message co-opted and neutralized. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's before you even think about the fact that we have powerful artificial intelligence that can just make up visual and audio information nowadays, let alone what happens in 2077. It'd be in black and white and shown on a cathode tube ray, which I think would make it easier to fabricate footage. It's way easier to fabricate 4K, you know, what is it, 1040 frames per second, like ultra high resolution. Like it's a lot harder to fake that footage than it is the old shit that showed up on the boob tube. No, anyway, sure. And I just like also like I like what she said about Cooper. He's like, well, I'm going to do something. He's like, Cooper, this isn't one of your movies. Like, yeah, you know, the happy ending's not guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. There are pivotal pieces of this puzzle that if you knock them out, the puzzle just can't be assembled. So like, and they identify one here, right, with this case. It seems like this is highly important to the plan, and obviously we know the bombs go off anyway. So he manages to, I think, foil whatever Robert House had going on, but not what Vault-Tec had going on. And they have different incentives at some point.
Oh, for sure.
Like we always kind of sensed that before or like hinted at it, but I think this episode opens that up a little bit more too.
And also I kept on, the first thing I thought of when she said, this isn't one of your movies with a happy ending. It's like, well, not all the movies have happy endings. I thought immediately of like Schindler's List. That's a movie that doesn't have a happy ending. But if you had to choose between being Schindler or being Ray Fiennes' psychopath, which would you rather be? You know, like he didn't save the world, but he saved a couple thousand people. And isn't that something? And maybe he thought he was alone. He was, I don't know. There's like all kinds of different ways to look at it. But like in the reality of this TV fictional world, I don't know how Cooper would refute that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if Barb really wanted to try to prevent or fix the damage she's done, I mean, she'd have to probably work with Swizzle Stick. She knows at least that he's sympathetic to the idea. He just believes he's powerless. Maybe she could convince
just
him
like
that
she
he's
is,
not.
yeah.
Together they do have some kind of power, and they need to find a coalition. They need to bring together like minds, and a large enough group of people can absolutely do something about it.
Yeah, and it's like I was saying about like, well, they'd probably just co-opt her message or discredit her or whatever. It's like you're already giving them victory without even trying, right? That's the danger in that. It's like, well, what if they don't, or what if they do and it's people don't believe them, or what if a couple of important people believe me and it's like, goddamn, they're essentially like, what if this is a bluff? What if you aren't a replaceable cog in a machine and this is just them in a desperate attempt to flex power because they know how fragile they are? But that's high stakes poker, cowboy, when you're playing with your family's lives.
And maybe they can, replace you or discredit you or whatever. But how many of you can they do that to? When two people stand up, when 8 people stand up, when you have like an entire division of people.
Yeah, there could be 1,000 people around North America in Barb's position, and if any one of them
just
they can
waiting, for somebody to take that first leap. It's a first mover problem, right? Like that's what it always comes down to. It's especially like everybody knows the right thing to do here. Nobody wants to be the first nail to pop up because they know they'll get hammered. They're
going to get the full brunt of the hammer. But we're back to reviewing Andor.
Oh, we were reviewing television?
Right. Oops. Okay. Back in Hank's vault, Lucy tries to escort him out of the building, but she gets a practical lesson on what Hank is trying to do when the workers are reluctant to return to their former stations. And worse, following Lucy's orders almost leads to mass death and murder until she allows her father to mind control some new recruits from the surface. Kumbaya, peace is restored.
Sure. Here's the thing about this. None of this is a proper demonstration of these people's desires. They're all wearing fucking chips on the back of their neck that are controlling their thoughts, literally.
In an artificial zoo-like environment.
Yeah, nothing these people say can be trusted to be their own thoughts right now. Are you insane?
Right. But what if it is? I mean, I guess it's like, this is, again, the pluribus thing.
Sure,
it's like
sure.
you spend all, it's like, you know, what is the nature of free will and all that? But like, he's even saying like, oh, it's not mind control. It's a lot more complicated than that. It's a lot more. Now, that could just be him bullshitting and justification, but it could also be like, again, if he said, hey, I've developed Prozac and it's curbing these people's psychotic, impulsive tendencies, and they really want to be these polite. Do you remember that cartoon Goofy Gophers? I can't remember if it was a Disney or Warner Brothers or what, but there's the two gophers that were like ultra polite. And the joke was always like, oh, no, please, after you. Oh, no, I insist after you. Oh, no. And they would like, you know, it'd like go to get in each other's way, going through doors and doing stuff. Maybe he has just allowed them to return to normalcy. I mean, I don't honestly believe that. I'm just saying that Lucy's a kid that grew up in an artificial environment and has been traumatized by her brief exposure to the quote unquote real world. And maybe she'd be susceptible to those type of arguments.
Yeah, no, I think definitely there's a manipulation happening here. Hank is trying to make her think a certain way about what he's doing. That's on the face of it. And I don't even know that like the show is trying to say a thing about it. I think like it's just, in a lot of ways, it's just as valid for a show to hold something up, turn it around to all different sides so you can see all the different angles.
Yeah.
And not say anything about the object itself. Just let it be what it is. And I don't know that Fallout is doing that, but it's coming pretty close. I think they have represented every side, some more silly in sillier ways than others, but definitely like they are approaching this idea of what should a civilization be, who should govern it, how should it be organized, from every different angle.
And as far as this being a panacea that's changed people, I think there is something a little clever going on here. Because, for example, Hank's like, oh, look at Marjorie here. She used to be a murder cannibal, but now she's a pencil sharpener and she's a damn good one. Mm-hmm. When Lucy had to murder someone, who was the first person to be like, sharpen pencil? Like, how much has she really changed? And how much is like, I thought that they were being pretty clever with like, has this been a real sea change for these people, or has this been a top down force that is putting them in that every, you know, chance they get, they're rebelling against? I thought that was a little telling.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I do think if the show has an opinion, it's probably that like, despite any positive outcome you might get, it's not this like enforced top down rigid structure on someone else's life that needs to be the thing, right?
Yeah. It's also interesting that Lucy's making, to the extent that this is a mistake, the same mistake she made in the Medical Mart last year, where she's insisting to all, like, without knowing the full situation. She's, for example, I'm not sure it would be a kindness to leave these goofy gophers mind controlled with the doors open to the outside, where like death claws could wander in, or a cannibal tribe, or rad bears, you know. But
I mean, just imagine all the animals are going to walk in and rub up against their paintings.
Yeah. I had cause to watch.
Sorry, I've watched too much Pluribus this year.
You're trying to bring it back to Pluribus. I'm going to bring it back to fucking Breaking Bad. I had to, randomly, I saw Mike Ehrmantraut's speech to Walter about half measures. It was clipped in some other context, and it's like, oh god damn, this is fucking good dialogue. But I kept on thinking about Lucy. She's always trying to take these half measures, you know. Like, I can't conscious leaving this situation in this state, so I gotta do something, and a lot of times that impulse is destructive, you know. Like, yeah, it's well-meaning. You want this to happen, but it's a half measure, so it actually ends up being worse. I don't know what a full measure would look like for what Lucy's taking here. But I do wonder if she's making a lot of this. It just seems like she does. She's still on this, like, I'm going to try to resolve things like peacefully, like Captain Picard on an away mission. And it keeps blowing up on her face. But it's also the golden rule. And it's also, you don't have to apologize for ever not murdering people. There's like all these different concepts are messing with this season. I did literally like just a physical comedy of the Uncle Rico NCR guy getting beat half to death with a staple machine.
Oh,
Caesar's Legion guy just trying to beat him to death with a Bostitch stapler. Let's go back to the mutant Ron Perlman. He's dragging Cooper around. Cooper thinks back to when he kidnaps the drunken Hank back in Vegas and incapacitates him to find what's in his box, chained to his wrist. Inside, he finds a medical injector, and Barb finds him in time to show him that Hank is actually carrying the cold fusion technology in his neck, Witzig style, and uses the injector to deject it. Is there like an inject? What do you call reject it? Inject it?
Eject would be something where it's not ejected though. It's pulled out.
Yeah.
So,
retrieval? Implant retrieve?
Sure.
Anyway.
I didn't see that coming, I'll say. I saw the injector and I'm like, okay. I should have though, because like immediately remembered that it was in Michael Emerson's head. So like,
I know, but I went to the poison vial that Cooper. I'm like, oh, maybe this was like actually Vault-Tec had a secret idea to poison House and kill him, and they were all working for the same purpose, and Cooper almost fucked it up. But no, that wasn't what they're going with at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, they're really trying to salvage Barb in this scene. She jumps in with both feet into the plot here. And helps Cooper when she sees an opportunity to do so.
Can I say how
we'll see. I'm not fully on board yet, though. I do need a little more. I need to see how this develops before I'm like fully back on Barb is a good person boat. But we'll see.
And what is a good person? Can I say that I'm proud of myself? Because this morning I shortened all the cold fusion in my notes to CF, not knowing that the second I see CF, my brain wants to say carbon fiber. Every single time I've said cold fusion, I don't know if you rewind it and hear, there's like a little hitch in my voice. I have, without fail, translated cold fusion from carbon fiber. Haven't fucked it up once.
Nice.
Cue me fucking it up in the next 5 minutes. Yeah. The next morning, is there anything else to talk about here? This is just another like wiggle what? Like you said, Barb, it's another, is Barb a good person, a bad person?
So here's the thing about this scene, where I think this goes. Yeah. We know that eventually Moldaver ends up with this bit of, I don't know, man. How does this get from here to Shady Sands, right? Like it's got to be Cooper create Shady Sands in an indirect way by giving this thing to Moldaver.
Do you think Shady Sands had cold fusion? I don't think they did. I think this went to...
I assume they did because like, Hank blew them up, but maybe he just blew them up because they had a better way of life.
I think they were competing ideal to his, which is weird because like I feel like him and Betty might be simpatico, and like Betty... I'm getting new information about this stuff all the time, but so here's why I think the chain of custody is. Robert House wanted that cold infusion technology. He did not get it. The Enclave stole it, and it was been with the Enclave until Swizzlestick injected into his own neck and started season 1. But
how did the Enclave get it? Because like right now, Barb and Cooper have it, so the natural place for it to go is Moldaver.
Is Moldaver secretly working for the Enclave? Or is she being puppeted by the Enclave? Because, like I said, you could speculate, but like all I know is up now that it doesn't seem to Robert that Robert House got the cold fusion tech.
Yeah,
that there was that was the hitch in his plans. And we know that the Enclave had, and I could have gone back and forth post, but like it seems like the story they're telling is the Enclave is there in the hotel. They got Swizzle Stick there. They are going to intercept this and make it and take it for themselves, which is going to screw over both Vault Tech and immediately lead to the hastening of nuclear war. Because that's the other thing we found out, that the second that Cooper bought the ticket to Vegas, that his Rehoboam prediction technology brought the end of the world a month forward.
Yeah, but this is a man who's strapping a Doc Brown helmet to his head. So
that's the thing, is he a
reliable
reliable narrator? Yeah. But
we do know the world ends. So
that's the theory I'm going with. But it could be that maybe there's some kind of like they both got it.
I don't know. I'm fascinated to see where it goes from here, though.
The other important thing is, I think we're being told now is Barb and Cooper are on they're the same side of a team again. Maybe they're only on their own side, but like Barb going and backing his play is showing that she's not ready to give up. Like that Cooper has somehow inspired her or made her fatalistic about it. Or just push down
the domino that she knows is going to lead to their destruction anyway. So fuck it. We're already in this.
Yep. That's why I said a fatalism.
Which, in that case, that's not super sympathetic. You know, well, you forced my hand, so I guess I'll be a good person now.
Back in the future times, in the wasteland, the next morning, Max and Thaddeus make their way to an abandoned Mojave mission control, where they find a ghoul laying in repose. The sight of each other, mutual fucks are exchanged.
Yep. Sure.
Especially,
I guess.
Yeah, like Maximus, this is the guy to clean this clock in Philly. And I know they also like had the dealings with each other at the end of last season. So like, yeah. And Cooper's like rolling his eyes like, oh God, these fuckers. And it's sounds like a fun traveling roadshow. These two idiots. One who might be an idiot on the way to a hero story, and then the ghoul. Yeah.
And a dog. See where it goes.
I noticed that there was, I love the Johnny Cash Boogie Woogie song at the end. There was these comic books, and like I imagine these must be in-universe things. I didn't really get the references, but there's probably, if you're a Pete Peppers guy steeped in the lore, these are probably winking references of where this is going.
I assume.
But they didn't mean anything to me. Anything else that we need to talk about for this episode?
I don't think so.
Okay. If you'd like to send us feedback, fallout@baldmove.com is how you do that. If you'd like to get ad-free feeds, extra bonus digital audio content, and just have the satisfaction of keeping me and Jim making podcast, helping us keep making podcast out of the sweaty southwestern armpit of Ohio called Cincinnati, support.baldmove.com is where you do that. Fallout@baldmove.com. It's been a couple weeks as you've been sick. Did we have any messages from the wasteland?
Yeah, we got a few. I don't know the status of what you guys did last week as regards to feedback. So I pulled the stuff that came in since the last episode.
Yeah, I didn't do any feedback because I had my hands full just running the show and getting co-hosts and
sure. All right, well then, hopefully we didn't miss too many people, but we're gonna pick up where we left off here. Let's start with DB. Says, hi Aaron, listening to your recap of the Wrangler. That's last week's episode.
Sure is.
I think you and Pete missed the obvious play here where Lucy goes to the shop. The reason that everything was marked up is because this guy came and killed the shop owner, stole his clothes, stuck him in a trash can, and then raised the prices of everything. That was his gambit. And that's why everything is scratched off and written at a higher rate. Has nothing to do with in-game pricing.
Really? But why didn't he just raise everything? He only raised like bullets, stim kits, and I guess a dick doll. Everything else kind of had baseline prices. I mean, that might be obvious. Like, that's just like, but I don't know. This guy came in naked. I don't think he had a plan. I don't see evidence of a plan of a guy waltzing in naked, murdering a dude and Tweedledumming his clothes that are half size for him. Like, you might be right, But I also think there is like, death claws have taken over half the city, and suddenly bullets and med kits and drugs are in short supply. But I'm not going to die on that hill. It's not really even a hill. It's an anthill.
All right. He also says, by the way, in Fallout Universe,
you don't even want to stand on it.
Yeah, I've seen that MacGyver episode. It's brutal.
I lived in Texas for a couple years. I did accidentally stand in a fire helping my uncle work on some fencing. Hey, man, I came from Indiana. We didn't have ants that set your skin on fire, so I didn't pay attention where I step in, and I was wearing flip-flops. Suddenly, my left foot was on fire. Anyway.
He also says, by the way, in the Fallout universe, they do not increase the pricing in the shops as you level. What they do is there's a finite amount of things in the game. So, for instance, fusion cores, there's only like 200 or so in the whole game. So if you use them all up, you're kind of screwed. Having spent countless hours on Fallout, I will say that the show has its Easter eggs, but very rarely is anything truly tied to the game plot-wise.
Yeah, I was speculating because I haven't played Fallout, but I was speculating. I've seen how some video games balance things where, you get to the halfway point and suddenly the shops there's some bullshit in universe reason the shops prices are twice as expensive because you're now poor. So if you could get a full healing med kit for the old prices, the game would not be. So it's like, oh, now the world's gone to shit because you're halfway through your campaign. Now med kits are 4 times more expensive. And that's an easy way to balance power. But apparently I'm wrong. Again, never played a Fallout game.
DB also wrote in another email to ask a question. I thought that they pretty explicitly told us that Shady Sands was stealing fresh, clean water from Vault 32 and 33. That also explains the issues later on after Shady Sands was destroyed, but losing their water supply. Am I wrong in this? I think
I wouldn't frame it as stealing. I think they were just pleasantly surprised. Like, oh my God, there's this vast underground source of uncontaminated water. They didn't know that there is a vault, that the reason it was there is because there's a vault. And that's how Lucy's mom discovered it, is because they had these mysterious. So it's like stealing it makes it seem like, haha, these vaulties, fuck them. I think it was like an accident. That everybody is trying to live. But other than that, I think, that seems like an accurate telling of events.
You think so? I thought the two things were entirely unrelated, that the water chip problem was totally separate from, like, I thought
you're right about that.
They were just pulling groundwater. Like, groundwater wouldn't be as contaminated as surface water in this scenario.
Well, they did tell us that Lucy's mom was able to find out about Shady Sands because of the water level, the water discrepancy. And we saw from Maximus's father's perspective of how excited he was to find this uncontaminated water. So it's like, but nothing about his dad made me think that he's like, ha ha ha, I found this vault water supply and we're stealing it from it. Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
But,
okay. Let's go to Will, who says the background detail brought up a fond memory of Fallout 2. In the scene where Lucy and the ghoul make it to Freeside, there's a neon sign for Golden Globes Productions. Golden Globes Productions is a porn studio that appeared in New Reno. This was in the second main game installment before New Vegas became the favorite den of the vice in the wasteland.
It's just like in the real world. Reno's just the offshoot Sodom and Gomorrah version. The lowercase Sodom and Gomorrah.
It was a city ran by crime families and had a slate of notable side quests. This included an opportunity for the protagonist to try his hand in the porn business. For characters with high endurance and agility, plus a couple of sex-centric perks, you could make some hard-earned caps. My memory of this comes from talking about the quest with my older cousin, who was able to complete it. My naive 12-year-old self could not figure out why my character without the requisite stats couldn't complete it. But the only job it would let me have was a fluffer. I did not know what that was, but I was trying to figure out why I would earn 1 cap per job and get the disease status ailment.
Oh my God.
I didn't know anything about these missions. That sounds great.
This is like my mom, she was really strict raising me. She didn't let me read magic and fantasy books, but I guess she thought that I'd just go full feral rebellion if she said you can't read science fiction either. So she's like, if it's got a rocket ship, if it's got a horse with a knight and a wizard on it, you can't read that. Or someone's doing something with crystals. But if it's got a spaceship and a space station, little did she know some of the sickest shit that was written in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, where a bunch of horny nerds talking about interspecies sex and all this other stuff. I was getting some but yeah, like so how old were you? Like 12? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, fluffers. Should we?
Yeah, not knowing what a fluffer is at 12 years old is pretty reasonable.
Everyone knows what a fluffer is right now, right?
I assume.
Tal, you know what a fluffer is? Oh shit. Boy. Okay, well, homework assignment, boys and girls, do some research into the important role of a fluffer in adult films, and we'll just keep moving on.
All right, Mike in St. Louis wants to know if you could have one thing from this show, pretending these fantastic robots, weapons, medicines, potions were real, what would you pick? Armor, vertibird, live forever medicine, etc. What do you got?
What is this? So the question is, what's really from Fallout, or what could be real in the world?
No, assuming these things were real, what would you want to have of these things?
I mean, the live forever juice is kind of hard to beat, right?
Depends. If it turns you into a ghoul.
Oh, yeah. I guess ghoulification. But would I care if I looked like a ghoul if I'm living forever? This is a vampire question, right? Doesn't seem like you have to do anything dastardly. You just have to keep taking the medicine. But I guess that's where dastardly stuff comes in. Yeah.
I'll say, as somebody who's been sick for a week and a half, I'll just take the healing potion stuff, whatever they got in that regard. It doesn't have to be the live forever stuff.
Isn't that just ghoul gas with extra steps?
No, there's something that like Lucy was using in the first season to like...
Oh, the med kits or the stim kits?
Stim packs? Yeah, I'll take stim packs.
That just heals you. Yeah, that sounds good. That's better than the NyQuil I've been taking.
Oh, has to be.
And the vertibird, it's like we have that tech nowadays, so that doesn't seem very exciting.
We could do some VTOL stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather have an airplane or a helicopter. I think I don't have the tactical necessities of wanting to go one from the other.
Right. All right. And finally, we got Brett from Fishers, Indiana.
Ooh, fellow Hoosier.
I suppose so. I noticed in the scene where the Vaulters run into...
This is the guy I go camping with, I think, sometimes.
Oh, okay. Well, interesting. I noticed in the scene where the Vaulters run into Ma June, she responds to Barv asking why she helped out the Vaulters, that Ma June was trying to be a good person. I think this is showing that Lucy's character is having an impact on the Wasteland people she meets. Everyone in the Wasteland is out for themselves, understandably. Lucy's character is something completely foreign, and it's impacting the people she runs into. I just rewatched season 1, and I'm pretty sure Lucy tells Ma June that she is a good or kind person, which Ma June scoffs at. While the Wasteland is changing certain aspects of Lucy's character, Lucy is also affecting the people of the Wasteland in a positive manner. Oh yeah, I mean, that's the story of Lucy and the Ghoul, right? That whole road trip. It was like both of them teaching each other lessons about what it takes to survive and what it takes to be a good person.
You know, I was actually thinking, like, I was expecting Mama June to show up in Hank's little assembly line production here, but then I'm like, and then it wasn't. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But like now, I guess like that would defeat the because it's like Lucy's knows Ma June. She's run into her, and she's got a kind of good idea of. And Ma June's not an evil person. In fact, maybe she's like even like a secret freedom fighter. So if she was down there, like super happy to be, that would be a more obvious tell of Hank being full of shit.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, that's the thing. Is like Mom June's saying you can't, but like she seems like she's trying to live a somewhat righteous life.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I think the show is saying, that there's a balance here to find, that any of these extremes are insane.
Yep.
Has to be a little more live and let live kind of stuff, as opposed to strict enforcement of things. And a lot of stuff in that regard.
That's it's like one of the phrases to kind of like really change my life when I heard it is like the opposite of crazy is crazy. You know, that it's like when you said it two extremes, like you can overcorrect and you really try to balance all things. You can't anger is useful, but you can't go too far with it. Grieving is normal, but you can't get stuck in a cycle of depression. It's always trying to balance, because life is full of up and downs, and times when it's when it's so over, and times when you've never been back so hard, and you just keep flipping flopping that until you go out one way or the other. So yeah,
sure.
Usually the total opposite of some crazy bullshit is just opposite crazy bullshit.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Sounds like that's the feedback. Fallout@baldmove.com if you want to force me to fight on more fire ant hills, or have some non-spoilery lore tidbits you think we're missing out on, or some thoughts or unspoiled thoughts or theories about what they're trying to get at here. Just want to discuss the episode. Fallout@baldmove.com. And once again, support.baldmove.com is how you give us support and get some things. And also, I'd be remiss. We're getting down to less than 2 weeks. We're like 10 days away from our fabulous Groundhog Day fundraising event. We've been doing this for 9 years now. We get together as close to Groundhog's Day as we can. We watch 24 hours of movies straight without sleep. Things get crazy. And the whole point is to raise money for the Cure Alzheimer's Fund, cureals.org. It's a great, it's a great organization. 100% of our proceeds go to them. 100% of those proceeds go to Alzheimer's research. And if you're watching The Pit, there's a brutal Alzheimer's. It's good for awareness, but there's a brutal Alzheimer's plot this year. And it's a cause near and dear to my heart. We raised $50,000, over $50,000 last year. Can we do better this year? We're going to watch all of the Batman films. You heard me. Yeah, Adam West too. Yeah, the Lego Batman. All the Batman for 24 hours to raise money for the Cure Alz Fund. If that sounds like a righteous time, if you want to see how crazy things get at 3 o'clock in the morning, it really gets crazy late Sunday morning in the final hours, where we're just punchy and just trying desperately to stay awake as the old men we are. It's a great time. It's the highlight. It's one of the highlights of the Bald Move calendar. Groundhog.baldmove.com if you want to find out the schedule, how to donate, all that kind of stuff. There'll be giveaways, games, all kinds of stuff. Check it out. Put it on your calendar. And we will be back next week to talk about another episode of Fallout. Coming into the home stretch, man. We're going to have the penultimate episode next week, and then the finale. Can't wait. We'll see you back in the wasteland next week. Until then, I am your host, Aaron.
And I'm Jim.
See ya.